Okay, let's see. Let's get the agenda here. I guess we can start.
Is it fifth, right?
We're not waiting for anybody else, right? No, I think we're all here.
David coming in now.
I don't think so. I haven't heard. You haven't heard from David, have you?
I have, I talked to him, a few days ago. I told him the meeting was here, but, I'm not sure what the story is, you know, when he might show up later, he might have forgotten, who knows?
Okay. All right, so we might as well get started. Oh, how's the weather down there, Bob?
Well, it was, pretty good today. I think it was, close to 70.
Oh, yeah, not too bad.
We've had a few days in the 80s and a few days in the 60s.
Rub it in, Bob.
Yeah. When it gets down around 60, well, we don't like that.
No, that's terrible. Yes, yes.
You might as well be home if it gets to 60.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
But I'll be glad to get back, by the way.
Yeah. Okay, approval of minutes. December
Can you
4th.
read the min- Could you read the minutes? Because I was not able to download them, for some reason.
Oh, okay.
Were people able to read mine? I resubmitted them this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're fine.
So Jude, would you like to read the minutes from December 4th? Do you have them in front of you there?
Read them out. You
Uh,
can open them, Bob?
You couldn't
I
get the,
couldn't open it.
The December ones?
Let me see. I'm gonna try this. It's still there. Let's see. Who did the minutes?
for the 4th, Jude did, correct?
Nope. December.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, December 4th.
okay. Let me see here.
Mine should be a PDF, so it should be.
Same. Yeah, yours was a PDF. I didn't know to open it.
I actually have 2 copies if you want a copy.
Since,
Print them out and everything.
Bob, I'm gonna resend them.
I'm gonna search for it and just see here.
Yeah, Jude is resending them now.
Okay, that'll be good.
Just did it.
Okay.
Okay. And I will, let me see here, email is this one here. Now we'll reopen that again. Okay. Okay, I got it. Very good. I'll just glance them, just give me a minute here. Thank you. That's very good.
Do you have the January 5th meeting minutes from,
I don't have that, but I have, well, so far I have, let me see.
January 8th.
Yeah.
I only have, right now, I have the December 4th. Did we
Yep.
approve it the last time, or we didn't?
no, we didn't.
Jude was absent.
Oh, okay, I remember that, yes. Okay.
Just need me to resend.
A lot of minutes here.
How do you get on Wi-Fi?
There's an open. Go to your.
Okay, they look good to me.
Hang on one second. No, right next to it, right there. I think it's. Yeah. Go.
Usually.
A little arrow.
Thing.
Posted.
Nope,
Yeah.
yeah, this one. Oh, the other one.
This one.
Yeah, and then. Which one is open right there?
This one?
Yep, yes. Okay. Any other comments on the December 4th minutes? I know, Susan, you had a few comments and we have an
Yeah,
updated version.
yeah, and they updated, so
Yep.
that's great.
Okay. Do we need a roll call for the approval?
I don't believe you do, but you can if you want to.
Well, let me,
A motion.
okay. Second,
Second it.
The date on it.
December 4th.
December 4th. Susan?
No,
Yep.
well, I don't really vote.
Oh, that's right. I forget you're a non-voting member. Tim? Yep. Bob, you said
Yes.
yes. And as well, I say yes, so it's approved unanimously, and I will submit them for a posting. Now, the January 5th minutes, is it, do I have the date wrong there?
January
8th, okay, I have the date wrong.
All right, let me get that. I don't know, who did those minutes?
Tim,
Tim, okay. Tim, did you send them?
This morning at about 7:30, I think I sent them. Well, the second time. After,
I think I have them. I have them right here. That was January 8th. I remember that. Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So far, so good. Okay. Um, Okay, I read them. That's good.
okay. Any motion to
I'll motion.
accept? Jude, motion to second? Any second? Lillian second? Oh, I'm sorry, I keep looking to you, Susan. You don't vote. Tim?
yes.
Yep, Bob? You said
Yes.
okay, and likewise, I accept, I approve, and I will post them and
Okay.
get those out of the way.
Okay,
Great. All right. The first item on the agenda, well, the second item after the approval of the minutes is a number of administrative topics that we should probably cover. Just to note, the first one, that the boards and committee and commissions training has been postponed to March 13th, and just wanted to point that out, make sure everybody understood that it's been postponed. I assume that they'll send out a notice prior to that, I would think. But it was supposed to take place, I believe, a couple of weeks ago or last week. But just again, a note. Also, the Massachusetts,
On the postponement.
I'm sorry,
13th.
March 13th, yes. Also a reminder of the Massachusetts Historical Commission virtual workshops. Architecture and Building Technologies is this month on the 29th at 1 p.m. and you can sign up at that URL that's on the agenda.
Mhm.
that's
I
all.
did sign up for that. That's for tomorrow morning?
I'm sorry?
That's the one that's tomorrow morning?
No, this is the one that's on the 29th of this month, February 29th at 1.
Is that a virtual or is that in person?
No, I'm pretty sure it's virtual. I don't,
Virtual.
yeah, virtual. Yeah.
All right, yeah. If you send that out to me, I'd like to attend it. Send me the invitation.
Okay, I can send you the URL.
Right.
And then Susan and I participated in the Introduction to Historic Preservation workshop. It was last week. I thought it was it was a good introduction, is what it was.
It was
Yeah.
overwhelming.
Yeah.
It was wonderful.
Yeah,
But I could watch it multiple times before you could really absorb
yeah,
everything that the state has and does and offers. So
yeah.
I'd like to clone her.
Yeah, wouldn't you?
Oh
was
my
that-
gosh,
what's that
Jennifer
workshop?
Doherty?
It was the Introduction to Historic Preservation that what's her name again?
Jennifer.
Jennifer.
Jennifer Doherty.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
She
Put that
did,
on.
It was very thorough. It was dry,
yeah.
but it was thorough.
And she did send us the slides that she used that had a bunch of a number of links to various subjects and content. And I'll distribute that to everybody else. I don't think that's an issue. I think it's all
Yeah,
public
yeah.
information.
I also think it will come in handy if and when we're at the point to have a survey done, you know, to use the state's preservation, you know, programs. It didn't seem anything that is imminent right now.
Right. So I will distribute the slides that she presented. I'm sure I can get a lot out of them just by reading them. Next, under administrative topics is the CAM talk. And I must admit, I'm gonna fall on the sword. I got the date wrong. And poor Susan was up there doing her presentation and had nobody to man the table because of my aging mind. But Susan, would you like to summarize what
Yes, sure.
with the,
So I did my hotels talk at the museum on Saturday afternoon. And in the lobby of the auditorium, they had two tables set up. One, they covered with memorabilia from the summer hotels, which was very well received. People really liked that. The other table, and they had tablecloths on them, you know, it was really lovely. I had two frames with information on them about joining the historical commission, and the other one was that house plaques are available. And then I had many, many dozens of handouts on the tables, and we also put those handouts on people's chairs. So I didn't mention it in my talk, there wasn't the opportunity, and I have no idea how many handouts were taken. I haven't heard from anybody and nobody questioned me there about it, but it was something.
I think it's great exposure. And people may need to think about it and talk it over maybe with others in the family. And you may still be hearing from somebody. I think it's great what you're doing. Every time we outreach, you know, they may know of somebody. They may not be able to do it themselves, but they may know someone. They may say, you know, the historical commission is looking for their members, so that's good.
What day,
Right.
what day was that?
Right, that was Saturday, the 3rd, February 3rd. I can't.
Would I be able to see that? Is there a YouTube or something on that?
Yes, they did record it, and it's on the museum website.
Oh, good. Awesome. I'm gonna do that. I finally want to see this, and I want to see it in person again too.
yeah, me too. Okay,
Forgiven, Ralph, we all make these things happen. You
yeah,
know, once in a while.
I felt like a complete fool. I really,
Oh, it's awful, I know. I sympathize with you on that.
but that's not the first time.
You missed happy hour afterwards,
Well,
too.
that's why I felt like a fool. Okay, let's see, where were we?
What's our GHC project involved?
Yeah, so, Susan and I were talking, and when we recruit, in fact, even for current members, that, we make it I hate to say, mandatory, but strongly encourage involvement in a project like house plaques, like the preservation awards, like the demo delay, things like that. And the
For
question
a
is,
number of projects.
Yeah.
It's going up. We really need people who are going to be hands-on. And we really need people, in my estimation, that are talented, that are computer savvy, that maybe have experience in grant writing, in, you know, the kinds of skills that we need to really move these projects along. You know, so I think it's important when we're out there talking and recruiting that we don't just say, we want people interested in local history. because it goes way beyond that.
Yeah. Right.
We need.
That
people
is
to-
something that we would, they would come to a meeting and we would discuss this with them and let them know more about what we're really about and what we would expect of a member. And, but as far as them deciding when they're joining as to what they would be interested in, I would say let them feel their way through first and attend a few meetings and then decide which item they would like to get involved with, you know.
Oh, definitely,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's certainly fine. It's just expressing to somebody that wants to join a level of commitment. That's all. And
So beyond our agendas on the website, do we have like, I don't wanna say like a frequently asked questions, but like, is there like, these are the things, these are the irons on the fire right now?
We do.
Yes, we do.
We
Yeah.
have all the projects. Ralph updated the website quite a bit. Actually, if you could go to that website right now, you'll see where they are. The projects are listed and every project overview is listed. So that would be a place to point somebody who is interested.
right, right. Again, it's just setting the expectation that it's not just a social group, it's a working group,
Right.
and participation in projects is important. I don't think we have to vote on it or anything. I think it's just that, it's just what we're
That
gonna.
is, that is something that we would always want to do when we interview people and have them come to our meeting and discuss, you know, what would they bring in terms of their background and in their interests, and see how they would fit in, and let them know what some of the projects are that they're working on, and that is what we're gonna need help on, and then they can decide later, like I said, what project they'd like to work on, you know, as they get more acquainted with each item that we work on.
Exactly, yeah.
And,
So-
and Ralph, you might want to mention how we went to bat for Julie.
Oh, yeah, so, Susan tried to get Julie from the library, or inquired about getting Julie from the library to be a member of the group, but unfortunately, she lives in Beverly, and you have to be a resident of Gloucester in order to serve on any commission within.
But I thought I found the loophole.
No, you didn't, though.
And I
Yeah.
actually, the state law is that, but
Yeah.
the mayor trumps the state law, and this is what our mayor says, so that
Yeah.
was the bottom line. I was hopeful for a little while, but, because Julie wants to be a member, and she's away this week, on vacation. After her debut of the timeline, she was probably exhausted. So she's on vacation, and she let me know that she wouldn't be at this meeting, but she will be at subsequent meetings, and she wants to be involved, and she just can't join.
Jump back a second. The state law says,
Oh, I would put that in there.
no, but the state law says you have to be a resident.
No.
No.
It's unclear, I think, to me, the state law,
It was,
but the city,
no,
we reached out to the city, to, what's his name, David
yeah, to
Field.
David, to our
Yeah.
liaison,
Right.
and David said, yeah,
Yeah,
beyond
yeah.
a shadow of a doubt, it's up to, well, the mayor or the city council, or whoever it is, and that is a requirement in Gloucester.
Right, exactly.
Right, we have to live with that, unfortunately. And I
Memo.
just hope he decides to move to Gloucester. We have
One-
the same problem with somebody who now works at the museum. I can't remember his name right offhand.
Beyond Doucette,
That's it, yeah.
move, that's, I replace.
And yes, and that's unfortunate that we did lose him because he was terrific. But he moved, I think he moved to Beverly.
You did.
One of the problems actually is that there's not a lot of good choices for finding a place to live in Gloucester for a lot of people, you know, so that could be an issue.
Yep, they're just gonna have to move in with you, Bob.
Well, we had a little place here, they could do that. I think it's Stanley.
So it's, I mean, she would have been a wonderful addition, but yep, like
Well,
you
we feel
said,
fortunate that she's
yeah, she's still
willing to
willing.
come and she
Right.
wants to do the house research and,
Has anyone reached out to her yet at all for using her as a resource?
oh, definitely. Yeah, yeah.
I
It's
didn't
all
know
in
just
place.
in the last couple applications, if anybody had actually used her as a resource yet, or if they were doing their own. Stuff.
Oh, she's been doing that right along anyway.
Right.
As part of her job, people
Oh,
come
absolutely. Yeah.
to the library and they inquire. So us aside, she's been doing that as part of her job.
Yeah, I just didn't know if she'd seen any uptick since we had put her up
Oh,
as a resource on the application.
she's going to. We'll get to that.
One way or the other, she'll get to work on for us, yeah.
It's unfortunate because she does work at the library and she's got a very significant job there. And, and maybe they could change the law that says if you work in a certain type of job.
That was
community,
That was my argument, Bob,
you're-
that
Yep.
she not only is an employee, but her credentials and the job that she does, but it didn't matter.
Yep, now we got a clear answer on that one.
Right.
Yep.
But you know, she can attend meetings as a guest and that would be great. And then she's very interested, dedicated, and she'll be very useful in helping us with information that we would like to have. So it's not really a complete loss. It's nice that she is so interested. So that really is.
That's her ability to vote.
That's it.
That's
She
right.
can show up as a guest and we don't have to have like a public comment. She
She's
can
like an
participate.
alternate.
Yeah, she just doesn't
Yeah.
have to vote.
Right.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
You have company.
Not for long.
Okay, the final item under administrative topics is meeting minutes turnaround. And I think Susan, you brought the question of, is there a way that we could get the notes, I guess from you, Jude, for the most part, so we could review them prior to them being formally typed up? And I
Yeah,
think you
I
said,
can scan them and email them today. I have a scanning app that I use to like, I mean, since I was at the museum just scanning stuff, it
Yeah.
just sends it as a PDF. You'll get like, I don't know, whatever, let's say I have 4 pages, or just get 4 pages. If you guys can read through my scrawl.
right,
Yeah, that's just it. Can we?
yeah.
Like, how effective is that?
So I didn't.
Because if you got this software,
or
then
one
you
of
put it in
these.
the software and it comes out in Word, and then we can actually modify it.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to reply to your email, but this is an e-ink tablet.
Yes,
Which
yes.
does full transcription on here, so I can have it automatically transcribe it into text via my notes when I'm done. So as soon as I finish my handwritten notes, I can go and you can go and transcribe them directly into PDF. So that software is built into this. Yeah.
But into PDF or into Word?
Either one.
Okay,
But is it typed or
Yeah,
it,
yeah, no,
also it
it
interprets your
transcribes,
handwriting?
yeah.
Okay,
Transcribes your handwriting into text. Yeah.
and what tablet is that?
It's called the Supernote.
Oh, what-
Supernote
Super.
is the name of the company. Their symbol looks like that. They're amazing little tablets. They're awesome. You can, they also can you can put email on them, Wi-Fi. It's an e-ink display, so there's no light. It's just, it's a different technology than a normal tablet.
Huh,
yeah,
And they write just like pen on paper. It feels really nice. They're
very
using a
nice.
different type of pen. Yeah, they're really, really
Mm.
nice. But yeah, highly recommend it. And yeah, these will do, when you first buy them, they have you hook up to the Wi-Fi and it does auto-generated, learns your handwriting
Mhm.
and will do the transcription. And then you can actually, since once it learns your handwriting, it can actually do the transcriptions without even a Wi-Fi signal. So you can do it offline, which is even,
oh, okay.
they're the only ones on the market that will do that.
Is there a spell check? That's most important to me.
Probably, I also need that. I know I'm severely dyslexic, so I get it. Yeah, I think so. I don't really know. I
Yeah.
haven't checked that deeply into that portion yet. The last meeting minutes, I actually hadn't enabled the transcription yet, so I had to manually go and type them back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it
Oh,
was fine. But yeah, it does it does work. I tried it recently.
Okay.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
So
I'm-
getting there.
Yeah.
Jude, I love your interim solution to simply scan your notes and send them out.
Mhm.
I think that makes it a little harder for all of us, first of all, to read somebody's handwriting. And second of all, not to be able to go into the document to say, I have a
Oh,
question
yeah,
here.
add comments.
We're reading a PDF of notes. So then we have to like type back to you in paragraph 3 of page 4, you said this, and I think maybe you should.
See, I do everything off Google Docs.
Yeah.
I don't have Word.
Right, but it'll export out of Google Docs for a Word document. Into a
Yeah.
Word document.
Yeah,
Google Docs
If I'd
does
known you,
work.
that's what you.
I also don't have a tablet.
No, but yeah, even if just in Google Docs, if you just say download, you can choose what file.
No, I don't have a tablet to write
Yeah, no, I know.
to write on.
Yeah.
So it would have to come out, it would have to be something that's
From your hand.
From
to that.
paper.
Yep.
onto. See what I'm saying? Like, I don't have a device that I
Yeah.
can.
right,
Then
right.
manually.
You could take a picture of it,
You
but
don't
that's
have
about
a
all you.
computer or a tablet or anything, you only have a phone?
I have a computer with a laptop.
So that's what this software is. So there's a lot of software that converts PDFs to Word, but there aren't a lot that convert handwriting to Word.
What's what I'm asking, like, how do you convert without,
You buy this software, it's $10 for 100 pages. I'll buy it for you.
but what does it go on?
Take a photo. And
So
It
just
goes
goes on
on,
phone.
image recognition.
if you put it on your phone, it doesn't convert as well. Because my husband's a techie and he's tried all of this and he did it all. And when he put it on his computer, it converted almost 100% from the notes to Word. But when he converted it on his phone, same software, it didn't convert as well. So you would have to sign up for, it's called pentoprint.com.
Is that an app?
It's an app.
You'd send
What's
it
it
in.
called?
pen-2-print.com.
Right. I did hear of one and I don't think that was the name of it. And it converts text as well. I mean, it converts from handwriting to text.
Handwriting to text, right?
Yeah, that's a new technology for us.
If you are gonna continue to take the notes, which,
If someone has it and wants to do a snap of it at the end of the meeting, like, I don't really, doesn't bother me. As long as like, will it convert that?
oh, well, we'll have to see. Everything need to be proofread.
Yeah, so the only
Yeah.
thing that I would have to say about that format, like, I don't know. I've never read how he does his notes, but I abbreviate like crazy so that I can keep up with the pace of the conversation. So
Sure,
like what's here is
sure.
quick notes of like a sentence and I know in memory with a conversation and we'll
Yes,
expand upon that in my description like I did on my one that I actually submitted. So what I'd be giving you here would be very brief overviews of each topic that we talked about, which then will trigger my memory of what we actually said.
yes,
That's
I
just how I
understand.
work.
I understand. I
So-
would do that too.
Okay.
Yeah,
See, I summarize more of like the conversation. So I have more of like, and then if I put it in the notes, if it's like a long call, like, remember the Dogtown stuff? We had like, I was taking stuff verbatim from people.
Yeah.
mhm,
And then parse that out if it was necessary, but
uh-huh.
at least in my notes, I had that, Joe Smith came and had concerns about blah, 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 and then if it was like, as it went on, if it wasn't necessary to include in the minutes, I would just discussion ensued about this.
Right.
Citizens had comments regarding the, open space, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So I adjusted it after the fact.
Jude, if you want, I can take a snapshot, a picture of your notes and I can try it.
Might as well try.
I can, for $10, I can download the software
Uh-huh.
and send it around. You can take a look at it and see if it makes sense.
Yeah, see if it converts.
Yeah.
Like if it converts and it's like do a test run if it converts.
Yeah,
So
Great.
the whole reason to do any of this, we were
Mm.
talking about, by the time we get our minutes, which is a month later or more sometimes, you lose track of the projects, the conversations, the to-dos, the action. It's kind of like, oh, did we talk about that? When is that? So it was thought that if we get a summary of our meetings within a few days of the meeting, while it's still fresh in our minds, that we would be able to move some of our projects along faster.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if I don't have Word, so if it doesn't
Yeah,
convert
well,
it
I
to a
can,
Google
I
Doc.
can get it and, well, Ralph
Let me
can
give
get
it a
it.
sh-
We can
I'll
both
take
get
a
it.
picture.
Take a picture of it, because it's, I mean, does it
Yeah.
care, will it like, where I scribble stuff out, like I'll go back and we'll
Yeah.
test it out.
We'll find out, yeah.
We
yeah.
will, we will.
Okay, yeah.
Okay,
I mean, it's not gonna be the final version, but it'll be something that we can work off of as we, after we leave the meeting. Okay, ready to go on to the next item, number 3. Stage Fort Park, and Jude, maybe this is.
Do they even exist?
Well, that's a question. Where are we with that? I've heard that they have disbanded.
That's
Bob
what
told us that
Yeah.
they,
Sean
right,
Nolan,
Bob?
Sean Nolan never got back to me,
Yeah.
and
Well,
I
Bob,
heard they disbanded. I don't
didn't you
see why.
say that the Stage Fort Advisory Commission disbanded? Bob?
that's correct. They're disbanding, if they haven't done it already, they will be disbanding the Stage Fort Park Advisory Committee. I guess they've done all the goals that they wanted to do. And so now there's no longer a need for it, I guess. So so I would say that anything that we would have would not be with the advisory committee. It might be more now with the DPW looking after the park. And I don't think this is really a priority based on some of the other things that we're working on, especially the award ceremony. So I would say this is something we can look into down the road now that we don't have the advisory committee that we would have invited them to come. I don't think there's much point in now having them come because they're not going to really be
Exist or they're not.
implementing anything now. And so I think that our concerns would be more for the future, and that would be maybe working closer with the DPW to see who the contact person there would be. It's not Mike Hale, might be somebody else that we might want to have them communicate with us with things that are going on there. Any project they're doing that might affect the historic aspect of the area of Sage Fort Park.
So, does anybody have a relationship with Mike Hale? I mean,
I do. I do.
I wonder if it's worth reaching out to him and just expressing our desire to help him.
I can do that. When I get back, I'll get in touch with him and
Very
and
open.
know what our interest is and see what he has to say as to how we can coordinate and make sure that whatever they're doing there is going to be something that is going to be in keeping with that what we're about, And
Yeah.
He's a pretty good guy. I'm sure that he will help us. And
Okay, yeah, it's worth at least reaching out to him, I think, and expressing our interest in helping him, I guess, if he's got historical.
well, yeah, he's very sincere and he wants the best for Gloucester.
Yeah.
And he works very hard in doing his job. And if they ever fall short, it's not because of he didn't try hard. It's really there's a lot of factors like enough funding, enough manpower, and things like that.
Yeah.
But
The
he does
usual
a wonderful job in the city, and I think he'll cooperate with us. I don't think I don't think we should put too much demands on his time. Maybe there might be somebody else that we could interface with there, and if he just was to let us know what's going on, that would be just enough.
I think
Yeah.
this was a you know, this issue was on the advisory committee, not on the DPW. I mean, the advisory committee existed to advise the DPW for what to do.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, they dropped the ball. And I mean, the DPW was just doing its job,
Yeah,
where I think the advisory commission is the one that
yeah, I'm sure you're right. So you'll reach out, Bob, and
Hey, I'll reach out to him
Make
and,
and that-
he'll, he'll, our concerns, I think he'll address them very well. And I think just the idea that we are concerned, if anything does come up and we're not too aware about that it could affect something that we're interested in, he'll reach out to us. He's very good about that.
okay. Great. All right, next item. If I'm going too fast, just tell me to slow down and,
You probably
okay.
have a lot to cover.
Yeah, the historic structure preservation ordinance, I sent around the one-page summary that will be incorporated into the 10-year plan.
Yes.
Susan, thank you very much. You added a lot to it, and the latest version has been sent around. Does anybody else, before I submit it to David Fields, does anybody
Well,
else? Any
I have
input?
some issues with it.
Sure.
And I want to say that it's very well done. And both what you did and what Susan has done is really very, very good. The part that I would be concerned about would be just mentioning that tourism is a focus for this historic preservation ordinance. And
Okay.
I really feel that a lot of people would take issue with that because they believe, Joe, look, we do, I'm not interested in what the tourists, I'm interested in what it's for me, not community. And in fact, if we were a tourist community, we still would want this demolition delay. So I think we've got to get that out of there. And there's some other things. I think just keep that very simple and not put that in there, because these are things that people can take issue with, whether it's the councilors or whether it's the people. And as soon as you start to mention tourists, a lot of people are not friendly about the thought of tourists, so they think they're a nuisance to us, and they don't really want them here, But in fact, Gloucester benefits by having tourists here. We have great restaurants because the tourists help those restaurants to stay in business. And if we didn't have tourists, some of those restaurants couldn't survive, and we all enjoy those restaurants. So in other businesses too, as well, not just restaurants. So, Main Street could be a ghost town if it wasn't for the tourists. But we can't say that. When I say that, we can't say that. We can't make that our focus, because actually, in all of it's right. The ordinance for preservation, for protecting property from demolition, is really something that we want for ourselves, not just for the fact that people would like to come here to see historic structures. And what I've always kind of said to somebody who might not like the idea of having a demolition delay is that if you lived in a historic neighborhood and you had a nice historic home and you loved your neighborhood, but then you had a few neighbors that decided that they wanted to make some major changes, and those major changes required them to tear down their homes and build a home that was really out of character for that historic neighborhood. Now you would not live in that. You wouldn't live in a historic neighborhood anymore, and you'd lose that charm and that beautiful feel that you have. And so, really, what we really want to be doing not only is protect individual properties, we want to be protecting the historic neighborhoods that we have. Now, sometimes there's a home that was not built all that great, and it doesn't serve much purpose, and it's very difficult to make it work. And in those cases, it is sometimes a property that will get lost, and sometimes that is the best thing. And it's not always the best thing to keep an old structure just for the sake that it's old. It may not really be significant enough. It may not be worthy enough to save. That's a tough call. Sometimes it just makes you think about in the 1950s on the front page headlines, they wanted to tear down City Hall because it was an ugly building, And that was the feeling at that time. The building was only about 75 years old, I believe, at that time. And so it wasn't really considered to be so extremely historic, although it was. But it has become much more historic in the meaning of the city hall. I think almost anybody could say the city hall is a beautiful structure and we really need it in Gloucester. I saw a picture of a city hall in another community, and I have seen other city halls and town halls, and some of them aren't very significant at all. They look like any other building, and we have a building that is an absolute icon and beauty to the city. It's seen, you can see it from so many vantage points, and it's cohesive to the civic center and the downtown. So if we had lost that, and you have to be careful that, when you're deciding these things, that you don't get too caught up in that it should just go,
Thanks.
But I think what you wrote in there is it really was like 3 properties per year that probably would be challenged.
Yeah.
Under the ordinance. And that doesn't mean that they would have to wait out the full delay, because we could either determine that it is fine to go ahead and do whatever you want to do, or we may actually make some kind of agreement where we said, if you do this, you don't have to wait for the delay, like a partial demolition, or sometimes you might even say, I understand you need to take it down, but how about doing a documentation, And
So-
these are things, at least we want to have the chance to be able to review these things before they lost. Because we have lost a lot of historic properties that should not have been lost.
So on the tourism item, so what if we take out, I'll reword it. So.
I don't have it in front of me.
No.
What's it say? It's very short. It says tourism and something else.
Yeah, well, it talks about tourism as the future is tourism. We can get rid of that and maybe
Yeah.
just have it Gloucester's, cut it off, and I'll figure out how to lead into it. But the arts and culture
Yeah.
all will be strengthened by preserving and protecting its historic assets, and get rid of the tourism.
Right. And I think the part about culture, you had that in there, that's very important. It's our culture. We want to, keep our culture here, and everyone can identify with that, and everyone can feel comfortable protecting our culture, and the historic properties in the city are part of our culture here.
Mhm. And there's also a bit on the very bottom paragraph about tourists. So
I saw that, yeah, but that needs to go.
yep, I'll rework those and send it around.
Great.
And see
And then
what,
I'll give you my final word on it.
Okay.
It looks actually very good, very well worded. And I guess when you send it around again, I'll check it over.
okay, sounds good.
Good.
But
And thank you for doing a great job and taking the initiative to do this, both you and Susan.
Yep.
And it's great to have you on this commission.
She's the wordsmith.
Oh, she is.
The word wizard, I should say. Okay, I'll rework that. Good point. Any other comments on the document? No, otherwise it's reasonable 1-page summary. Okay. Okay, I will rework that and send it out. I should get that out within the next couple of days at the latest.
Oh, good for you. Thanks.
Okay. The next item, web content and documentation. Susan and I have been working. She's been cranking out the documentation, and I've been doing the updates on the website. And there's some new, I don't know if anybody's gone out there and look at it, but there's the new information about historic listings and designations. I suggest go out and look at it. It's a very clear description and differences about historic listings versus designation, and what's what between the city and federal and state.
Yeah, when I created it, I ran it by Wendy Frontiero, and she tweaked it a little bit, and then I ran it by Mass Historical Commission, Jennifer, and she read it and she gave us her blessing on it. So what it is, it's 3 pages, and it defines what the local district is, which is Central Gloucester, what the two National Registry districts are. There's actually three because Central Gloucester is one of them. And then there's East Gloucester Square and Rocky Neck. And then there's what Wendy pointed out to me are preservation restrictions. There are actually 10 structures in Gloucester that have written into their deeds
What is that called again?
preservation restriction. And this is getting more press. In Nantucket, it became a big issue. Anyway, it's a designation by the state. It's on Macris. You can search in Gloucester and find that designation, and the 10 of them will pop up. And the homeowner themselves have to put it into their deeds. And what it promotes is not being able to touch the exterior of the house, even if the house is sold. And some of them also limit what you can do in the interior. So that designation is there. Then Gloucester has two national landmarks. One is the Schooner Adventure, I think it is.
Yeah.
And
And the City
I
Hall
didn't bring it.
and Hammond Castle, the
Those only-
Slocum-
Our Lady's Good Voyage Church.
Sorry, I thought you were.
Right.
Yeah.
I probably have it.
Yeah.
Anyway, it outlines all the designations and that's on there. As well as all of our projects and project overviews. Ralph did a great job figuring out how to modify after our training, right?
Yes, we had
Um,
training.
So if you haven't been to our website lately, you should go and see how it's changed a bit.
Yeah. So we'll continue that. We'll continue to push content out there, update it. One thing that we did want to bring here is the question about Dogtown content. And actually, Susan, I made a decision to get rid of all of the content about it being a historic district because it's not.
It's not.
It all got shot down. So I didn't delete it. I've archived. You can bring it back. But what I did is just left there the description. I don't know if you remember, there's a paragraph that described what Dogtown was. But I guess after the fact, I'm asking for permission to remove what I already removed because
Right.
it was old
Well,
news and never
But to
happened.
make it more accurate, what was done is not to make it a historic district. It was more to have it in the National Register listing. And that was a non, there's no regulation in terms of what can be done there. It was really just an honorary listing.
Off of that website, because apparently there's a brewing shitstorm in the open space committee or whatever. Spearheaded by the same guy the Rockport guy that created all the drama with the National Register. So I feel like we can stay as far away from Dogtown as possible.
Yeah,
Mm,
that was the number one contentious thing in mayoral debates was.
Let's do it, because this guy's just, for whatever reason, I saw that because we had that public records request by him.
mm.
Right.
months ago.
He had some issues about whether we were being fair about making what we were doing open to the public, I guess.
He has some issues.
Our procedure, how we're handling things. But I want to just say this, that a good part, I think it's about a third of Dogtown is owned by the town of Rockport. And I went down to the Rockport and met with them down there. You know, they approved it. Rockport approved it. We could not get it approved in Gloucester.
Mm.
So we do have a new council now. I don't think this is probably the largest priority that we do have, but I think it's something that we would like to address in the future. It's not so much that anything really would ever happen. It's just a matter of, I think it would be nice to have the designation because it is such a precious part of Gloucester. It is the really the early settlement of Gloucester.
Right. So as far as the website is concerned, all is that's there now is the description of what Dogtown is.
Yeah.
And I think at this point, we just leave it at that unless anybody objects.
And where did you put it,
I think it's
Ralph?
worth
Where
putting
is it?
You have to
That-
log
in
in.
that Context.
Oh, it's archived.
It's archived.
Oh, so you don't see it when you go to our website?
No.
Nothing on Dogtown on our website?
Well, there is just the description. So if you go to,
Where is that? National Register?
yeah, that's the problem. It's got to be moved out of there.
Yeah.
God forbid.
I think,
Jeff
I think you
Dog-
could have it in there that, it was,
Brown.
Oh, it's not there.
If you
Oh,
go to Dogtown.
there it is.
Yep. But I took out
you
all,
can mention the fact that it was,
They can't
that,
write.
you can talk about the historic register, that it was, not approved. I think you can put that in there.
yeah, that we could put in,
What's that?
that it wasn't approved.
There was interest. There was interested in having Dogtown become a listing in the National Historic Register. That you can put in there, and that at the time it wasn't clear enough that people could embrace it.
But
And
that
just leave it at that.
Annisquam too, and I think it's too touchy.
I agree. At this time, it's not our purpose.
shouldn't
When I say that, it's nice to do it. But I think we ought to just, work on the other things that we need to work on and address those things in the future, because as we go along in the future, we'll change the personalities for one, and also may change how precious these areas are and that they should be recognized.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll leave it. I'll try to pull it out and I'll think about where to put it because it's under, what is it under? And I'm sorry, National
Register.
Register, and it shouldn't be up there. Okay.
We talked in December about, are we still considering like having a website like Historic Ipswich?
Down the road.
Okay. Cause I was going through a bunch of my papers and I remember we were talking about putting something together for the 400th. I have something like, I don't know, 150 pages of stuff I put together on various random Gloucester history things that is just sitting in a box on top of a thing.
Well, there's a section in here with very little in it called stories. So if you, in my opinion, if you have,
I have a folder like that thick.
Are they handwritten or are they typed?
Some is typed, some is handwritten.
Are they-
Sandy,
Are they referenced?
Sandy and I were gonna, put something together.
Oh, we could put them through the new right to pen and they could all be typed.
yeah,
But
Well-
I was thinking about your stories because I ran across one or two of them in my files the other day and I thought, this is
I have-
such good
I have
information.
like 150 pages.
I think it would be great to have just the history of Gloucester, the stories.
Cause I like,
what-
Historic Ipswich is awesome. They have
Oh.
so much information on there and it's not just like somebody
Yeah.
writing, oh yeah, this happened, blah, blah,
Mm.
blah, blah, blah. My dad sent me something on like the Peg Lesson thing,
Right.
Hmm,
and it was,
I think it's something we should be working on. I think it's a great idea, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna look at that on the Ipswich website and see what that looks like, and get see what we can do. That's awesome, Jude.
I mean, a lot of it is more maritime-y
that's perfect.
stuff, shipwreck and stuff that I came across, but
Yeah,
It's
No,
I think
great. I mean, I don't think we need to vote on it or anything. I think if it's,
I feel
It's-
like that's just
it's
something
just-
that's done in the,
yeah, I mean, if you send it to me,
yeah, I'll
I
start
can,
putting together like a file of everything that's already typed.
right,
I mean, I have shit on pirates, I have shit on shipwrecks.
perfect. I think that would
random-
be
totally
wonderful.
random stuff.
Whoops.
I mean, if you look at, I showed Susan this, the Lanes Cove Historical Association, we have a section on stories. And we've got just miscellaneous stories, historic stories, like the guy from Lanesville that was killed by a swordfish. I mean, things like that.
Yeah,
Just-
yeah,
yeah.
I was-
Not
Sandy and I-
controversial, just
Sandy and I
history.
were doing a lot of work with it and I was just cranking out material.
I think it would be
Probably
great.
like, what was it that, maybe the pandemic summer, or maybe the summer after that.
Hmm,
So I have it in a folder. I found it the other day looking for something. It's sitting atop of
mhm.
just 100 and something pages.
That'd be great. And, I mean, I don't think we need to vote on that. Do you, Bob? I think we just add
No,
content.
right now, we don't need to vote on it. What we
No.
can do is if you want to add anything to it, the website, we can always take a quick vote on that, and I don't see that's gonna be a problem anyway.
Yeah.
So, now, how far down on the agenda do we have, what Lynn's working on for the award ceremony?
We've got 3 more items on the agenda. We've got historic plaques, CPC funding, and preservation awards. So
Right.
why don't we move, what time? I'm not sure. I got kind of lost track of time. Okay,
7:30.
we've got an hour.
30 of them.
Why don't we move on to historic plaques?
Yes, because we have to approve one of the entries. I sent it to everybody, the application on, it's Wellspring, but it's the Davis Freeman House. And it's a first period house. You know which house I'm talking about, Bob? It's the Davis Freeman House that Wellspring.
Yes, yes, exactly. I'm very familiar with that house.
Yeah, so I don't think there's any discussion that it's not historically significant.
No.
There's all photographs of all the, right? So that's all I need to know now.
There's a whole PBS documentary going on right now on that house.
Chronicle.
Chronicle? is that what
Yeah,
it's called?
Chronicle did a
Chronicle
feature,
did a thing on
yeah,
that.
they did a feature recently, yes. So they rushed to get their application in before tonight, so we could vote on it, so we do need to vote on that. Then I'll get back to them, so that's one part of that. The second part is they did in-depth research on the house, and they found 3 errors in Macris, on the Macris listing. And they were concerned / upset. They wanted it corrected. So I thought this was going to be a big deal. I went to Jennifer on Mass Historical. She shunted me off to Peter Stout or something like that. I've been in touch with him. He's great. He's fast. And I outlined the 3 sections that they had outlined for me on what they wanted changed. Because we first exchanged emails and I was like, well, I need to know the nature of what they want changed. Because if it's one thing, it goes on this, and if it's another, it goes there. So I sent him the document. And what he did is he made the changes. He put it on the continuation sheet and he gave it back to me. So it's done. It's in the queue to have those changes made on Macris, which is, I think, fabulous that it happened so quickly. But then I thought, were we supposed to vote on that? Were we supposed to vote as a commission that we, yes, do want to approach Macris and have this property
So
changed?
here's,
So if
here's
we
my
need to
thoughts.
vote on it, let's vote.
Here's my thought. Part of the obligation is to do Form Bs. We've never had to vote on a Form B before. It was just, that was just something we did. I don't remember all of the ones that we put in, Bob, in the past, when Mary Ellen was around. I don't ever recall voting on them. And I feel like this is just amending an error.
And these
In a
Form
Form B.
Bs, these Form Bs were done in the seventies and
They're
eighties.
typewritten, there's
Yeah.
and wire antennas and
Yeah, and the references that they used were, it was something like the newspaper or something. I mean, it wasn't in-depth research. So I tend to think that what they found, and they hired Jim Cook from Magnolia Historical Commission to do their research, and it's so in-depth that I just don't question it. It can't be any worse than what's on there now. So it's in the queue. We don't need to vote.
I don't think we need to vote on it.
I
We
don't
do
think
need to
so.
vote on whether they get a plaque.
Packers already.
don't we do
I'll
it?
motion to give
Yeah.
them a plaque.
Okay,
Yeah,
anybody want
Well,
to? it?
Yeah, I'll second.
Okay, so then we're done with that. That's, that'll be our third plaque.
Mhm.
Lisa, the sign vendor, sent me the mock-ups of the two orders we already have. And these are them. You want to show to Bob?
yes,
I
Very good.
sent everybody
very
all
good.
by,
Well, awesome.
yes, she does beautiful work.
Well, spray.
My only comment is she's got a small C here and a big C here, and I like the smaller C.
was that for Circa?
Circa.
Yes.
Yeah,
Isn't it
Probably
a
small.
small C? It's a small C anyway.
I thought it was anyway,
Yeah.
yeah.
Small
Yeah.
C anyway,
Yeah.
type script, whatever.
Yeah.
So if everybody is good with these, then she's gonna send these to the homeowners. And if when they approve, which I can't imagine they wouldn't, she'll do the final paintings. She'll send us the pictures of the final paintings, and within a month or two, the first plaques should be out.
How did the schooner turn out? From here, I can't see it. The schooner on top?
She said this isn't, she's going to do a much finer work.
Yeah, that was just her, her like digital,
Yes,
I guess,
yes,
draft, let's call it.
right.
Yeah.
But when I brought her an original and she traced it with a lot of detail. So,
Very cool.
okay,
Yes,
so
it's a lowercase C.
lowercase, yes, all right.
Yes,
So I'll tell her that.
Just to get back on track, he motioned, I seconded.
Yeah, we
but
didn't vote,
never actually
yeah.
voted
Oh,
on Wellspring.
I don't vote.
so Lillian,
Oh, what?
Well,
this is,
Springhouse.
this is what, yeah,
Yes,
Black.
yeah.
Voting to have.
Approve.
James Friedman.
Jude,
Yes.
Yes.
Tim, Bob,
yes,
and I as well approve, and motion passed, and they have a new plaque, or not yet, but they will.
Eventually.
A woman named Elizabeth McLendon called the mayor's office, was in touch, email or something, and I spoke with her today. She had some questions about her application. I looked it up while we were speaking, which was very nice. It's definitely an old house. She did original research with Prue and oh, who else? And anyway, I told her to go to the archives and make sure that her research information was correct and verified, because whoever name and whatever year goes on the plaque needs to be accurate. So in other words, I said, have them check Prue's work. And because she said, I'm not sure if the house isn't older than she had some questions about
Did you
it.
send that address?
The address is 53 East Main Street. So we have another plaque applicant in the works, and I'm sure we're getting more. I've sent them out to some people who have asked. And I've warned Lisa, the painter, that she might be getting a lot of orders.
It does in fact look like a very old house.
Right? So the last thing is recruiting, not recruiting, but promoting the house plaques. And I've been to the archives a few times lately. And the last time I was there, I talked to and I met Bob's sister, Lois. I met your sister.
Right.
And she helped me along with Sandy. And I posted on their bulletin board. And I made a sign, are you interested in a house plaque? And in a plastic sheet, I put a whole lot, a few dozen of these instructions on how to apply for a house plaque. So
Maybe,
those are on the bulletin board
KBM too,
outside.
Maybe
Will
they're-
they do that?
maybe their archives,
Oh, I'll have to ask.
I don't see why they wouldn't,
Yeah,
if we just had it on like their little archives table,
yeah,
people
Good.
could help themselves.
good. And actually, I brought a whole bunch with me tonight, hoping you guys would know people and just want to give them to your neighbors and I don't know, just get the word out. Anyway, they're here if you would like any.
Mhm.
And I also have two.
Majority of the houses around my whole.
I have two applications, if anybody knows a neighbor or anybody actually wants one to hand to somebody.
Yep, you gave me a couple,
Okay,
but I'll take
Yeah,
Well,
I
another.
think they can still just get on the website as well, correct?
I
Yeah.
can, but if you know somebody and you just want to hand them one, I've got another one here if you'd like.
Where was the bulletin board that you posted that?
Archives, City Hall Archives.
It's down in the basement of City Hall.
Yep.
They relocated. They're toward the back of the City Hall now.
Yeah.
And I looking at the building from the front in the left-hand corner.
So
Yeah.
this is what I handed out at my talk. This is what I handed out at my talk. And there are plenty of these. If you can think of other places to post them or use them, it's a handout that promotes both recruitment for the Historical Commission and the House Plaques program. So if you think of places, these can be posted or handed out, let me know and I'll do that. I thought I would give some to Julie at the library.
Nice work.
Yeah, no, and
Okay.
again, Susan, thank you for breathing life in such a great way.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, it's
Program.
exciting. People are very excited. People
Yeah.
that I talked to are very excited about getting a plaque.
Yeah.
And then in another month or two, when we get going, I want to go to the Gloucester Daily Times and have them do an article for us. And actually, I was thinking I'd like to, when we get the plaque to Wellspring, have them come out and photograph it. And have it
Yeah.
in paper.
And we'll have you standing next to
Well,
it.
I don't know about that. Okay, enough about that. Let me just go quickly about the next item is the
CPC.
tercentenary markers.
Yep.
I was thrilled. I stumbled across a company in Watertown that has restored at least 20 of these markers. And they did it by the protocol of MassDOT. And he sent a beautiful report with photographs of the process of how they do this. So long story long, I'm getting a quote from him. We already have a quote from one company in Woburn. I'll get a second quote from this company in Watertown. I downloaded the application from CPC on February 1st. It's due March 11th, so we have a little bit of wiggle time to get that to them. I have I have copies of the insurance and the, what is it called? Memorandum of understanding.
Understanding or
Yeah.
agreement, I've heard both, I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
so the paperwork is in place, but the application is not done to apply for the funds to have the Champlain sign restored.
Great,
That's it.
how do you pronounce their name in Watertown? Is it Daedalus? Daedalus? Daedalus.
So what's the status of the application? For the funds? In progress?
It's not completed, but the paperwork is organized. And another quote is being sought.
What about the extension, quote extension to compensate for inflation for 25?
Yep, I
2025?
I got that updated,
Okay.
I did,
Awesome.
and I got his insurance. So we're all set for one company, one quote with one company. This other company actually comes to the site, uninstalls it, transports it, brings it back, and installs it. First company doesn't do that. We have to arrange that all with DPW and, so we'll see what his quote comes back at and go from there.
Okay. Now,
All right, Lillian.
is CPC matching funds or is it?
No,
No, it's not. They cover the whole,
they do.
okay.
Yeah, I talked to Matt and I've talked to them about it. I checked it out with the city. It's definitely eligible. It's an eligible
Yep.
program for the funds. And compared to other requests, it's a pittance. What we're asking for, $4,000
Oh, yeah.
is nothing.
So right now we're doing one plaque, correct? Or
That's
one-
it.
Not the one at State Fort Park, or is it the,
Not for the first go around.
right, okay,
Next year.
see how it goes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
The other thing is, the plaques in Stage Ford Park are a little less politically correct.
Or
No,
sort of
you don't
or-
want to write this,
Or sort of
Um,
accurate.
than the Champlain sign.
Yeah,
And-
controversial.
Some of the towns, Concord, are taking theirs down because they're not woke. So I don't know if we'd run into that in Gloucester, but we'll kick that can down the road because right now Champlain, and according to Mary Ellen, was the least offensive.
It's also something to be noted in like a sign, like a QR code
That's right,
sign.
we spoke about
Yeah.
that. We did, yes, yes.
And I feel like
I
that,
like
once,
that.
once it's
Yeah,
done, because like Tim mentioned, the signs themselves are historically accurate.
Yes,
The signs themselves are historically
Historic.
significant,
right.
so yeah,
so if we're gonna like,
promote a different.
not even getting into the like political correctness of it, but like just clarifying some minor historical details.
Mhm,
We could do that with like a
mhm.
QR code or
Yeah.
have a little, I don't know if the DPW wants to make signs for us anymore, but like a little QR code
Right,
block. that
just so you can look it up
yeah.
on your phone and,
We already have those
Yeah.
on all of the harbor walks and
Yeah.
everything, so they've done it before. And what's her name from the library? She actually agreed with that when we talked about it in the last meeting that we talked about that, so maybe that's the way we should look at it, but that'll be when we get to those ones.
okay. Lillian, you're on. Last,
Okay.
but certainly not.
Okay, so, at this point, I'm about to advertise. And I was going to take, I could rewrite this, but what you did already was pretty, a while back, Susan sent me, some suggestions for the awards or whatever, and what to do. So I thought what I should do is take this and advertise.
Thank you. See that, Bob?
Good morning, Gloucester.
I don't know if you can't see it.
Okay, yeah,
Into
I think,
Bob.
yeah, I think she sent that to me.
Good morning,
Ah,
Gloucester.
okay.
Oh, I didn't send it to you?
Did you send it to me?
No, you said,
Perfect.
Probably
If
not.
you haven't, please send it, please send it.
Okay. Do you know how to do this? I'm so technologically challenged. Okay, I'm sorry, Bob.
So can I just say something right off,
Sure.
because I'm the word person? If you don't use GHC again in your writing, you needn't clarify it. You can take that right off of there because you don't use it again.
Okay. Or should I put it in there?
If you put it in there, then leave it.
Okay,
Yes.
Okay, so, I think that we've kind of decided on some nominees. Mary Ellen, obviously for the Lifetime Achievement. I don't think there's any argument with that. And the Paint Factory, I guess adaptive reuse, is that what we thought was the best category?
That's what we said last time,
Mhm.
yes.
Right?
Okay, and, Susan for educational outreach for historic hotels.
Thank you.
So so that leaves. So then I need, so how should I handle that if we have some nominations already? And I put
So,
out the
Two
word,
things, I'm not putting any of this in the minutes
No,
because we haven't got to the awards yet, and I don't need someone turning around and being like, well, you said something in the minutes, so I'm
Right.
not putting the names
oh,
in
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
so here's my question. I thought nominees, including myself, are simply a nominee,
100%.
and that we can have multiple people.
Okay, that was my question.
You
That was,
actually
that is
are.
what I,
I think
Here's
that
the other-
woman today said there was a book, and that's my thing, you know, you get as many,
Here's the other thing, if we're voting on people who are getting awards, are we crossing into the conflict of interest lines, giving an active member an award if someone else isn't getting it?
that was my
Okay.
question when I asked.
Yeah, I think we need
did.
clarification on that
Okay,
because.
yeah.
Oh, should we ask, what's her
Oh,
name?
David.
Yeah,
David, I guess. I was thinking of the lawyer. I forget her name.
Oh, Suzanne Egan?
Yeah,
Who's in charge of
But
those?
I think in
Yeah.
general, nominations for each category, the better.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of like, there shouldn't be any restriction on nominations by any
Hey,
means.
and I'm only an alternate.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you're not a member, you're an alternate.
Let's just be clear
I guess
on
we should
that.
clarify.
well, I wasn't.
I personally do not see a problem, but you can run that by Suzanne Egan, and I don't think it should be a problem on that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very justified nomination, and I believe that it should go well.
Because in the past, we used to do it in-house, we used to just pick the people
Mhm.
from just having been around.
But we hadn't advertised it previously, right?
Yeah, we had never advertised
That's
it.
the
We had selected the people, made the list, did the awards, and it wasn't like open to the public to nominate. So that's where I'm like,
Like the whole thing with like rent. If you want to rent to a friend, you don't post it, but if you post it publicly, you actually can't discriminate on who you rent
Yeah.
to because you publicly posted it.
Yeah.
It's like the same kind of thing here in terms of.
and I'm no expert on the conflict of interest law, I just look at everything as a potential.
but it's not like there's a monetary,
No, there's no real
Or
like
anything like that.
monetary anything
Yeah.
for it.
I can reach out.
The one thing I do want to say here is that the award is given for the work itself. In other words, what it is, you know, and she happens to be the person that made it happen. So between those two, I think it's a very justified award. It's the most justified award I can think of. So I don't think it's an issue.
I absolutely think it's justified.
Yeah,
I just want to.
no question about it.
Yeah, yeah.
About Mary Ellen.
But
No, Mary-
the woman who was in touch with you had a candidate who wrote a book. So I've got competition. Just saying.
Well, I know, there is,
Are we limiting it to
I think
one person per
Yeah.
category?
And you don't have to, if you look back,
We
sometimes
never
there are
did.
multiple
There were
categories.
times that we had,
Yes,
you know,
right.
multiple people for some categories and nothing for other categories.
Yes, and that could be the case as well.
Because there's a list,
Right.
I think Sandy sent a list of all of the recipients.
I've got them right here.
You have that list?
Yeah, I have 5 years worth.
Because, yeah, it was like all of,
They're all different,
yeah, it was a bunch of, it was like all over the map,
right.
like Eagle Scouts and
Yeah,
students and this, that, and the
yeah,
other.
that's right. The students who did the uniform that year. Yeah.
War coats.
And there were multiples. And one year there were multiple, anyway,
so are the categories kind of, did you want to increase any of the categories for?
Well, I had mentioned 218 Washington Street, and I will get in touch with that homeowner You have a deadline. I think you said that you have a deadline coming up sometime in March for this, so you can get your,
First.
Yes,
March
okay,
first. Yeah, because at our next meeting, we need to vote.
yes.
Because things
okay.
being.
So, well, we don't need the details. All we need to do is to line the people up at that point. In other words, to first of all, see if they're interested, and then if they're interested, it gives us the opportunity to vote on it.
Yeah, I think given the amount of time we have for people to submit, we definitely need to go advertise this to as many outlets as possible. I think Good Morning Gloucester and the Gloucester Daily Times are a good start, and maybe 1623 Studios, but that's, those are the three big hitters.
Did you
locally.
say good morning, Gloucester? Yeah.
Speaking of through 1623 Studios, what do we think of, are they everything's back in person, like, are we gonna like get the podcast back up again? I know we used to do those once a month, Bob,
What's that?
the podcast,
Oh.
remember the 1623
Oh,
podcast?
yeah, yeah. We should probably start that up sometime in the future.
Those were always good.
I
Absolutely.
never
Yeah.
saw them. I don't know.
They were doing them before,
Yeah.
we were doing them before the pandemic,
Yeah,
Right,
and they like an hour. And it was like, you could do hotels.
Yeah.
Like it was just stuff we were doing, it was like,
Right.
at the,
We have some great material now to present. That would be awesome.
and is there a fee? I mean, how does that work?
1623, we just went to them in 1623 Studios.
It's community. It's
Nation.
community. It's a nonprofit thing. It's a community, and it's just
Yeah, it's the public TV show. It's the public.
They actually got an award a couple of years ago, I think, for 2019.
I don't even know how to, is that on TV? I mean, do we
I think
get
a
that?
lot-
Go to
a
the
lot of their stuff is
website.
online.
Oh, the
Yeah, it's
website,
online,
okay.
it's on the website.
They're like the main people around here documenting
Yeah,
everything. I think they-
hundreds. There
I
might
think-
be thousands.
What was his name? Kookaroo?
Every meeting, everything,
Yeah.
film,
Remember.
every
Okay,
Didn't-
parade.
Didn't they record your thing at CAM recently? Wasn't that them? as
They
well?
did record it.
Yeah,
I
they
don't
do
think
pretty
it's
much
them.
everything
I
locally.
think it was the museum.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
You want it?
1623 Studios records the Preservation Awards,
oh, okay.
Yeah, you need to
They did
set
the
that up. right?
Preservation
Yeah.
Awards.
So the museum doesn't do that, huh?
They just provide the equipment, AV equipment and space and all that, I think.
they usually have somebody there to help us along.
Right, they do. They have that, which I'm sure they will do, but the rest is
Is Miranda your contact?
who?
Miranda.
Oh, I think,
Museum.
well, you just sent that to me, her name, because I just sent her the one that
Is
has
that
the two
Miranda?
two nominations, right? Two nominations. I think that's who, yeah. I sent.
Well, you
her
sent it
two copies, yeah.
today.
No, I'm saying at the museum.
Oh, is
Who
she
Who
the,
is your contact?
oh, at the museum is Kathleen. She's in like she
Oh.
kind of handles the program, yeah.
Okay, okay.
Mayor Rena.
So
think.
I just have one comment on this. Commission would appreciate. I would say no later than. Instead of by, that kind of
Okay.
indicates you could send them right away. Or you could say ASAP and no later than.
Yeah.
So that you get responses upfront.
Okay.
I have an idea for another nomination. The people who worked on the 400s, do we have anything for anyone there?
That's a good point.
Oh,
Yeah,
The pets,
Elsha?
right?
Elsha, the
Yeah.
director,
or just in general, the whole organization. I mean, I don't,
or, and
Yeah. They had chairs for the steering
Mhm.
committee.
Pet. Was
Oh.
it Pet?
yeah, Izzy Pet.
Izzy, yeah, there's a lot
Right.
of them, very hard.
We probably can get in touch with them how they like to do it, but I think that is very worthy.
Hmm.
And the
Yeah, I think that's a
do
good
it,
point.
right? I mean,
So is that preserving Gloucester history?
Yeah. Oh, maybe,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or is it
I guess
education?
you might say preserving and celebrating
Yes,
the history and the culture. Because a lot of this was culture.
Do they still have their storefront downtown?
they do, but only because they're still distributing the buoys off of the lobster trap tree to children who haven't picked them up yet.
Oh,
But otherwise, I think that's the last use for it.
so there's nobody down there. We could stop in and talk.
Oh, you could.
Yeah.
They might give you a person. Ruth Pino would be a person to get in touch with. Bob Gillis,
For the coins.
and I can't think of a third person offhand. I should be able to. Being on vacation, you do forget things.
Well, even when you're not on vacation, you forget.
Oh, yeah, that's true for me. I'm just trying to use that as an excuse.
Oh, all right, all right.
What
I,
else?
I have to say, I'm beginning to relax, so.
Oh, good.
All right, how can we help Lillian? What else?
Yep.
Well, I contacted, Holly Clay. And she's the one who did the certificates last, and see if she would do them again. It was very funny. She said, no, I did them myself when I was on the historic commission. So I said, okay, history will repeat itself. I will. I did take calligraphy years ago, whatever, and I have all the, so I'll take care of that.
Oh, wow.
It was just so funny. So, oh, what else did I? Oh, yeah, so I forgot
Oh,
my train
do
of
we
thought.
need to put something in here? About the commission would appreciate receiving the nominations on or before. Like, there's nothing about the process, like a nomination is just a nomination and then we vote on them. So you don't want people to think if they're nominating somebody that that person is,
So we could say the commission would appreciate receiving these nominations by March 1st, 2024, in order to enable us to vote
Yeah, what's the date we're gonna meet
on our
next?
meeting.
Yeah,
Should we make it a week later? I was thinking it's already February.
Well, we're
no,
gonna,
because we.
Make it late enough, I can come in person.
Oh, that's right, okay, so we
Right?
don't have, yeah.
what's
so
the
we don't
first,
have that
what's our
option.
first
Okay,
meeting in March? It's the,
yeah,
The fourth,
yeah.
is it the fourth?
yep, Monday the 4th.
So we need it by March 1st. We'll have a list with all that information for the March 4th meeting. We can say the nominations by March, you can do nominations by February 29th
I like that,
in order for us to,
I like that.
to vote on, in order for us to make our decision at our
March
March
4th,
4th.
meeting, yeah.
Well,
Well, we don't have to give them a meeting date, right?
I think as long as they get it in, before we meet, I think that'll be fine.
But I think,
I like February because when you say March, people think, oh, that's a long way off, but February is like, it's more like now, this month, I've got to respond.
Yeah, and it gives
You
them.
could just say, so we allow us to vote at our March meeting, don't have to put a date.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah, that way it informs them that just because they're nominated, I think, Jude, as you were saying, doesn't mean they're automatically gonna
Yeah.
get something,
That's a good
that there's a
point.
process.
And
Yeah,
if we just mention that we're gonna vote on it,
yeah,
So what does this mean? Nominations can be made on and that is our website, but how do you?
yeah, I was wondering what that,
How do you do anything with that? They have to email, you have to give them your email, not that.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Right.
that's a hyperlink to where the previous awards are.
yeah,
Yeah,
So if you
that's
click
just
on
our
that, just-
website.
okay, so
Yeah, so you have to take that out
The,
and just put your email.
yeah, I was gonna say, the last time we had discussed this, we had said that I think the temporary fix was to put Lillian's email, but you guys were going to ask at your online training if there was a way to get a email address for us
There
to
isn't.
have a Dropbox.
Yeah,
they, no,
we've asked every which way we
Yeah.
They
can.
won't give a digital Dropbox. in?
no, they just,
No,
it'll be the contact the city.
and they won't even do that. Did you see that today from
No.
Stelly?
They won't,
No, I asked her and
Oh, I
and she
missed that.
reminded me
Just too much
that
work
when
to
we
follow
met,
an email post.
they don't have enough.
That's
What
right.
they
you're
do
right.
now is they do a contact us form for a board or commission or department. And then you have to fill out the form and you send that in. It's kind of like an email, and then you wait a day or two to get back. And that avoids putting phone numbers and emails and things like that publicly on the city website. And so I asked one time when we were meeting with Shelley, can we have a contact us form? No, the boards and commissions can't have it because Erin or somebody like her at the city then gets all of these emails and has to disperse them out again to all the boards and commissions, and they just don't have the manpower to do that. So, long story long, or there's no way to contact the historical commission. There's no way to contact the district commission. There's no way to,
I have a suggestion.
Tell me about it.
It
What if-
is completely free and for us to do this, right? If we're gonna put Lillian's email address, why can't we just start a new
I was gonna say the
GH,
same
yeah,
thing.
Gloucester Historical
Info,
Commission at google.com and have to
Info-
create our own email
info,
address?
Gloucester Historical Commission information at
Yeah,
gmail.com.
and you got it.
And just
That way
disseminate
we're
the
not giving her
password,
personal information out.
Mm,
give everybody here the login credentials,
Yep.
and we just have.
We can ask.
Are we within?
Yeah.
Is IT gonna be like, no, you can't
Yeah.
have that?
I will ask that question. Yeah,
Sounds like a good idea.
And like our own
It's
just
completely
info.
free and it's completely separate and it's just a way for people to submit things like
Yeah.
this that they won't do for us. Like,
right,
if they're
I
gonna
mean-
have us have it on someone's private email anyways, you might as well have your own email that says Gloucester Historical Commission info at Google or at Gmail or
and
whatever.
we all have access to it.
Yeah,
right.
Because,
and then you
I
can link
mean,
that
for
right to a
me,
Google Drive associated with that email address too.
That's
So you can
also really
share-
helpful
To
if
the
someone's sending
plaques.
plaques.
Yep,
Yep.
We have all that information, so you don't have to be the clearing house
on
and
my
just go to that.
personal email is
yep.
plastered all over
Whoops,
everything.
did I just lose Bob?
Yeah,
Hi, Bob.
the nice thing about a Gmail account is we can create a Google Docs account that's linked to that, and we can just upload the documents directly into a Google Docs account from that email.
Like have a
address.
drive, a
Like
Google
a Google
Drive.
Drive.
Yep.
Yeah. I think that's the way to go. So, I think it's worth looking into.
Okay.
Do we have to ask this? I don't think
Yes.
they, I just
Yes,
don't
we do.
understand how they can be like, no, put it on your own personal email.
Cause their
address
IT,
instead.
cause their IT, I think is. So I know cause the,
But all you have to
Shellfish
say is
Department
it's
had
her
a Facebook
personal
page.
email address with that name,
well, the
right?
So
Shellfish
let's
Department
see,
had a
so-
Facebook page that was linked to my brother's private one, so he would have to post. Something on
Social media.
his private Facebook account and it would go to the Shellfish account, but the Shellfish account got hacked. And it was literally all these like video game websites out of China that they were just spamming.
It has to be, an email account that's all of its own and not shared with other emails coming in.
Yeah.
And having it so that, we would have the password and so on, to be able to access it. So we could answer these, requests. I think it's a great idea. I don't think there's any problem with that.
Or we just do it
I
and
was
then
gonna say,
ask
I can set
forgiveness.
that up.
I would rather not do that. We need to build rapport with everybody in town. So,
I just don't know what the difference between doing that or asking Lillian to
Or-
use her personal information.
or
is.
me using mine.
Right, you're already doing
Right,
it. I don't
right.
think it's, I think that's not.
I
right,
think
honestly.
the thing that city cares about, and this doesn't enter into it, is that documents, remember, like they said that the, Slack application could only live on the city website. It has to live there, so if you
Leave the
want, if you want the
application, makes sense.
library to have it, or if you want anybody else to have it, they have to link to the city, because I've got the historicgloucester.com website, and we were thinking, well, we can expand all that and make it the Historical Commission community website. And she said, no, if it's a city document, it has to live in the documents on the city website. That she was
Just the
clear about,
template, though.
but that's different than an email,
But
so.
if somebody got that off the city website, they don't have to email it back to the city, they can just email it
They
to us.
send it to you right now, so it'd be no different than them getting the application off the website like they do now and submitting it to this email address instead of
agree.
your email.
Because right now, nothing is stopping me from creating Jude Seminar at
Understand.
Jude Seminar at Gloucester Historical Commission and just having all my historical commission stuff through my email. I have the credentials to it.
Mm.
I only do Gloucester Historical Commission business on that email. I don't see why this would be an issue if we
I
just created our own.
What do you think?
It's an email that like
Do we have to
Tim
ask?
created.
Yeah,
I think if we put it up on the website, city website, we have to ask.
Oh, you
There.
can't put it up on this, no,
I-
you're right.
But our private emails are on the city website.
Not
No, they're
anymore.
not.
They took
Oh,
them
they
all
took
out,
them
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. If you go to our website, there is no way to contact any of us.
Our phone numbers there?
I have a
No,
question.
they
No,
took them
there
all
are no
down.
more phone numbers.
Yep.
There's no more emails, and there are no contact us forms for any of the boards and commissions. Because if you fill out a contact us form to try to get in touch with us,
It has to get
it goes
submitted.
to Erin, and then Erin has to form it out. And if she got burdened with all the boards and commissions
Well,
contact us forms, that's all she do all day is just first email.
So on the application, for instance,
Yeah, what does it say?
it has your email on it. If
Oh,
we were
that's-
just to make the Gloucester Historical Commission information email and replace it on that,
That's all you have to do.
That's all.
no one would know. And then if we had on,
It is a problem that we need to solve. It's a problem we need to solve, and I think that it can be solved. If they don't want to have individual
But
emails,
isn't it the same, Bob? If I change my email, my personal email to ghc@gmail.com,
That's exactly what we would be doing.
Yeah,
it's the same as if
It's the
it was
same thing.
Susan Morale
So
at
you-
gmail.com.
I never
Except for
noticed
you're not
yours
getting
is
your
one.
Well,
blasted
yeah,
now.
but you cannot be the official, you can't, no one of us can be the official,
No,
I assume.
We
Yeah, well,
we
it-
all can go to that email and look at it.
Yeah. Let me, you know what I'll do?
I think we can create one with the city's blessing.
Yeah,
Contact, and none of our personal information should be on there, right? I mean.
yeah,
That's what Bob just said,
I mean,
man.
technically, we're not supposed to be using our personal email
For
for
anything.
anything,
Yeah.
because it's.
That was my point of saying this, is I don't want people like you and you to have your personal email blasted out on.
Because every time there's a public records request, I have to go back through the gazillion, like I signed up to get someone an online Christmas gift 17 years ago, and I'm still getting like ads from them. Like I have to scroll through. Like I do a search term like Dogtown, then I have all my own notes on Dogtown, like to parse through it. If we just had like a GHC email,
you know what I'll do? The email today.
If you wish, I will take this on and I'll get in touch with somebody in the city.
Oh, you're
and I'll
gonna,
get it out and we'll get an email.
Bob, how about we let Ralph do it?
well, I was thinking, there was an email on
Only
this
because
today.
He's in IT.
Yeah,
I'm just thinking,
I'm talking about the part of getting the city to guide us as to how we should go about getting an email address.
oh, no,
No,
we can't get it from them. We're already clear about that.
No, and that's not that, is how can we create one? How can we create one? In other words, every department of the city can have an email, I believe. You know, and I think there's a way that we can have an email.
They told us we
Yeah, they
can't.
said
We've
no.
asked a number of times.
Well, then the next step would be to go to the Massachusetts Historical Commission and see if they can help us get an email.
But we don't
doesn't
need
make any
that
sense.
because we can just create our own.
Yeah,
That's
that
what
would
we're
make more
saying.
sense.
Yeah.
As an individual, and then advertise it as being an email for a city commission. I don't know if we can do that.
Well, what I was gonna suggest is there was an email today that went around, you asked about this and Shelley responded to you saying no. But let me respond to that email and say, well, what about if we
Good,
get our own email address, a generic email
Yes.
address
Yeah,
at Yahoo or Google or whatever,
I
and see
like
what they
that.
say. And then-
We've already started the conversation with Shelley from IT. So Ralph is saying he's going to
Okay,
finish that conversation with her and add this on.
Right, and see if we can do it. Just,
That makes
yeah,
sense.
let's get some guidance from them. You just get in touch with them and ask them how we can do it. I mean, there's gotta be a way to do it.
right,
So in the meantime, what email should I use?
I know.
Just use my own for the advertisement? Okay,
Yeah, we have to switch it, I guess.
okay.
Cause this could be like a month worth of like back and forth with the,
That's what I did. I just want to make
Yeah.
sure I said.
working through the machinations of bureaucracy.
yeah.
I just don't understand why we're even asking. I know,
Go back.
Well, I think if we want to put it on their website,
You'll
but
get
we're
it.
putting their information on the website.
well, yeah,
At least that's what I
And their
thought.
email's on both forms.
no, I
So
know.
we don't put it on the website, we just put it on what we have.
Or maybe we just put it on the forms.
Just put it on the forms that are on the website.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, do you want to not ask and just do
The
it?
city
That's
would-
what I said. I said, just do it and ask permission,
The
ask
city would
forgiveness.
never know the difference between that or her email, or her email, like.
No, no.
I know, I don't know. such a-
Yeah, I think
where
there's
else-
no concern, or no
Said that.
reason to even ask, because they clearly have shut us down and saying they're not gonna be the gatekeeper for an email for us.
Right.
Which means you have to use a personal email, and if we choose to use one with the,
Then we don't let people email anything else, they mail it to City Hall.
right, we don't, yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Oh,
to protect people's personal information.
yeah. What do you think, Bob? Should we just go ahead and do it?
No, I think we need to go to the city and do it in a way that,
Well, Ralph, we should talk.
it's another thing too, is that, if we do it the way I think we should do it, it'll be done forevermore. If we do it as one of us has an email address, it has to be under an individual that is now on the board. Now, if that person no longer is on the board, now we have someone who has our, who set up our email, who's no longer part of the commission. So we need to have something that's set up through the city.
I'll talk
that
to
we
you.
have- That we can have our own email.
Okay, I'll ask Shelley tomorrow.
I'm sure it can be done. you
Yeah.
know?
Yep.
I know companies have employees that need to have emails,
Yeah,
so, and departments can have emails,
So I have another-
Yeah, we have shared access on a bunch of stuff at work, and every time anyone leaves, you have to change all the passwords.
Yep.
That's just how it goes.
okay, Lillian.
Okay, so I had another thought I was
Sure.
gonna share, because I
Yep.
thought you were in conversation, but I was thinking, style thing. Lillian is so nice and she's so sweet, and the way she worded it is the commission would appreciate receiving. And I would say,
Applications must be
send
received by.
your nominations to Lillian Olmsted at, on or before this. Direct,
Direct, yeah.
that's,
Yep, fine.
Business,
Clear.
Yep,
business, right?
that's right. Gotta be mean, Lillian.
Very hard.
That's gotta be straightforward, I guess, right?
straightforward.
Yeah.
I like that better. Thank you, Tim.
Gotta be as straight as people as possible.
And then you're gonna add something
Ralph,
about.
you're about to lose your battery, I think.
Oh, dear.
Right.
I suppose I should have plugged it in, huh?
Bye, Bob.
I didn't realize it was sitting there.
Yeah, before I posted,
Ah, well,
before I posted.
Oh, I said that, and then look what happened to mine.
Your battery died.
I'm working it
Well,
tomorrow.
What
So
happened?
there you
My
go.
battery's gonna die. I don't know
I'm
if I
still
can,
ticking.
Sorry,
I don't know if I can reach any plugs here.
Oh,
We'll go back to that thing.
that heavy.
So
TJ's dad.
I am a Libra, which is why I would be balancing
Well,
everything.
you know
out.
what, Bob, before we leave you, should we, set up a time for the next meeting? I think we said
Okay,
before I lose you.
are we getting to the end of the meeting, or is this it?
Yeah,
Four items, and there's no information on either of those.
Yep,
Okay, all right. So, I'll be back around the 12th of, could be 11th or 12th of March.
right.
Leaving
Well, we're
here, I
gonna
think, I'm driving home. I'm
Yep.
leaving here on the 8th of March.
Okay, but if we're having a meeting on the fourth, fifth, what do we say?
Fourth.
Fourth,
Monday, the fourth.
I'll set up another Zoom meeting.
Okay, that's right. That'll be fine.
Okay, we'll do that.
Right.
Would somebody like to make a motion to adjourn or is
We
any?
wanna just touch.
I'll make that motion.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even,
There's
oh,
literally no
well,
information.
no information. Okay,
So on the meeting with the GHDC, Bill
Mhm.
Remsen got back to me. He said, contact Arlie Pat. Arlie Pat has not got back to me. So I'll contact Arlie Pat again.
And
What's that about?
what, so
The
there was an
sort of
email
local government.
today,
Is it Arlie or Barry?
He sent me Arlie Pat's information.
Barry's the one that owns the house on Middle School.
that we were told
Arlie lives in East Cliff.
David, our liaison, has to set up these meetings.
yeah,
between
yeah.
The
That's right.
commissions.
Let me go, I just barely read it
Yes.
because I was in a hurry and,
Yes,
yeah.
so.
I don't know, if
we're
I don't know if
going
Jude was on
to
that.
Too.
Yeah. I don't think Jude was on that email.
Now, oh, really?
I don't know.
Okay,
I'll look at it tomorrow. And
okay.
if Jude wasn't on it, I'll send it to him and we'll
Figure it out.
arrange it through the email.
Right. Okay,
If David Fields sets up the meeting, then they can just set up the meeting. Like, I mean, I guess if that's how it's supposed to be done. And that's probably, that could be the reason that we've never been able to.
been successful.
Yeah.
Because maybe David Fields' predecessor didn't know that he was supposed to do it and we've been trying to do it. So, I mean, if David Fields is gonna set it up, then I feel like we just go with that.
Yeah. Let me look at the email. I just, oops.
There you go.
Bye, Bob.
I'm still here.